Age verification requirements for porn sites is being allowed after a Supreme Court decision. The justices rejecting a request from the adult entertainment industry to block the requirement on First Amendment grounds. Texas state law requires any website that publishes a substantial amount of content considered harmful to minors to verify the age of users. Lawyers for the trade group challenging the law, saying the law violates access to free speech online because it forces adults to identify themselves before accessing porn. The group filing an appeal at the Supreme Court and then asking the court to block the law while that appeal is considered.
Much later.
Quick update on the United States Supreme Court wrapping up their current term. They issued no opinions today. Instead, the court released a list of cases justices are going to be looking at during the next term. One of them, of note, a lawsuit over Texas's age verification requirements for sexually explicit websites. Texas House Bill 1181 was signed into law. That was June of last year. The adult entertainment industry challenged the requirements on the First Amendment grounds, arguing the law forces adults to identify themselves before accessing pornography. A lower court upheld the law in March, saying Texas had a, quote, legitimate interest in preventing minors access to pornography. The court.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
It jumped up a notch.
It did, didn't it?
Well, right before the holiday, 4th of July, the Supreme Court landed down some very impressive announcements on there, and it's starting to change the scope of net neutrality, the internet itself, age verification. We're finally getting situations where Net Choice, the Free Speech Coalition, and many others that have been filing lawsuits against these radical religious groups like Morality and Media, or NOSC, I say, but I was going to call, like I always say, I call them Morality and Media because that's what they are. They're hiding themselves. Because they're hiding themselves as a anti-sexualization group, but actually what they are is a anti-free speech group. And it's been known for many decades now. All you gotta do is look at the history books. Look at George Carlin, what they tried to do to George Carlin years ago in the 70s. Look what they've done with Sports Illustrated and Cosmopolitan by removing them from the front counters of Walmart, calling them pornography. See, the thing about it is they call everything pornography, but they don't have an exact definition. You'll hear the terminology adult content. And what is adult content? Adult content is just plain and simple. Any media, whether it's movies, whether it's newspapers, books, music, that has been made for anyone over the age of 18. Plain and simple. And that includes pornography. It does include pornography also. But also tons of R-rated movies, some PG-rated movies as well, and many other things. Newspapers. Think about that for a minute. They want to reduce adult content and control what is the narrative out there, because they just literally they're the new Puritans. Just like what in this book said, this is the new Puritans that are out there. But getting back to SCOTUS. We have some good news. We have some great news out there. And we couldn't put it out last week, because we're on vacation right now, if you haven't realized that. And that's why this week our videos there are not too many videos running this week because we're still on vacation. We'll be back the week after. But basically what has happened with SCOTUS is that they agreed to hear the Texas verification case. They have agreed to that, which is fantastic, because what's going to happen is, just like what happened in Indiana has blocked the courts there has blocked age verification. They were finding it unconstitutional, because that's what it is. Age verification is unconstitutional. People don't realize this. They say, well, it's trying to help the kids with the porn. No, think about it for a minute. Sit back look at it from this perspective. They will start with the porn sites. But they're already looking at Netflix. They're already looking at other sites themselves that have adult content. Remember, there are movies out there that have an R and an NC-17 rating. They're going to, and which contains adult, sex in it. There's, you have movies like Body Double, Caligula, and many others out there. Red Shoe Diaries. They would want that removed from the airwaves. They would want it removed from the internet. They would want it blocked. And the thing about it is, in order to use age verification, you have to identify yourself. Why am I going to tell someone, some agency, whether it's governmental or third party, what I'm watching? That is some hellscape Orwellian situations out there. It is nobody's business if I want to watch adult films, or if I want to watch an action movie, if I want to watch a horror film. That's nobody's business, unless it violates the law, such as cheese pizza. Yeah, anyone watching cheese pizza, yeah, you deserve to be arrested. That's a how dare you, how sick of you to the situation. But the other half is also with the net choice decision also, which is being sent back to a lower court, and that's another win to that situation. But we're going to read this off of AVN. SCOTUS agrees to hear Texas age verification. The announcement comes after the High Court has handed net choice a landmark win related to their content moderation laws, and Indiana sided with the adult industry stakeholders to temporarily block a local AV law. The U.S. Supreme Court has officially granted the writ of certiorari for a legal case challenging whether a controversial Texas law requiring mandatory age verification for porn websites is constitutional. The case is Free Speech Coalition et al. Via Paxton, adult industry trade groups, the Free Speech Coalition, and a plaintiff class containing the parent companies of the largest tube websites in the world brought the lawsuit against the state of Texas and Attorney General Kim Paxton. At the center of the lawsuit is House Bill HB 1181. HB 1181 was adopted by the conservative-controlled Texas state legislature and prompted a legal challenge from adult entertainment industry groups. All arguments for this case will occur during the next term of the Supreme Court, which begins in October. Plaintiffs alongside the Free Speech Coalition, including IO, the Montreal-based owner of Pornhub, which has made international news for geo-blocking entire states, including Texas for adopting age verification statutes, which, I have to add this one, they've never heard of VPN. Other plaintiffs, including web groups Czech Republic, NKL Associates, the owner of X Videos, and XNNX, and with other companies, the plaintiff represented by a team of attorneys from Quinn Emanuel Urquhart and Sullivan LLP, Webb Daniel Freelander LLP, and the American Civil Liberties Union. Yes, that's right, folks. The ACLU is also involved in this lawsuit as well. Paxton and his office are representing the state of Texas in his official capacity as State Attorney General. AVN has covered this particular case extensively, including here at Man with the Show as well. Other lawsuits, including Free Speech Coalition, fighting age verification laws, are progressing in federal courts across the country as well. These lawsuits include an appeal to the U.S. 10th Circuit Court of Appeals on Utah's age verification bounty law, a filing in a federal district court in Montana, and the most recent legal victory against age verification law in Indiana. I applaud that to the judge in Indiana for taking that down. The decision by SCOTUS to take up the Texas case following its ruling on Monday against content moderation laws in Florida and Texas, are being challenged by tech trade organizations NetChoice. The High Court's decision to vacate the appeal court rulings in both cases and send them back to the lower courts for reconsideration was hailed by NetChoice Litigation Center Director Chris Marchese as a victory for First Amendment rights online. And here's the statement from the Free Speech Coalition. The Free Speech Coalition is pleased that the Supreme Court has decided to review our case, recognizing the importance of the issues raised by our Texas challenge. We appreciate the opportunity to make our case before the court. Despite proponents' claims online verification is simply not the same as flashing an ID at a checkout counter, the process is invasive, burdensome, with a significant privacy risk for adult consumers, said Allison Bowden, Executive Director of the Free Speech Coalition. Sexual expression is the canary in the coal mine of free speech, and we look forward to defending the rights of all Americans to access the internet privately and free from surveillance. The Texas law HB 1181 blocks Texans from accessing any website with more than one-third sexual material inappropriate for minors unless they transmit their personal information, such as government issue ID, to verify their age. In August 2023, the U.S. District Court Judge David Allen Ezra enjoined the Texas Attorney General from enforcing the law, but his decision was later reversed by a split panel of the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals over Judge, sorry if I mispronounced this, Higginbotham's forceful dissent. In April, Free Speech Coalition and its co-defendants, representative by the ACLU and the law firm of the Quinn Emanuel Urquhart and Sullivan, filed a petition of writ of certiorari with the Supreme Court. This story continues to develop, ladies and gentlemen. What we have here is to protect the choice that we have here in the United States. And, of course, our freedom of speech, to watch whatever we want. We have a choice. You don't have to watch any of this content. Remember that. You remember, years ago, before Howard Stern became the way he is now, who betrayed everybody now, he said one major thing. And that's about his show. You don't have to listen to it. You have a hand. You can go over and either turn it to another channel or turn it off. You don't have to listen to my content. That's plain and simple. You don't have to watch the content. You don't have to read it. But they say, well, we're bombarded online with all this stuff. Well, the only way you're going to be bombarded by it is if you've chosen it. If you've chosen a subject close to it. Understand, that is going to happen. Even in a health situation. If you're doing stuff for biology and stuff like that, sometimes adult stuff is going to come up because what you're choosing is a subject matter that is of an adult nature. Of course it's going to choose that for you. That is the algorithm itself. And people say, well, they're choosing the algorithm. They're just trying to brainwash our children. And I said, let me tell you something. Parents have the given right choice to what their children look at on the internet, what they read at home, what video games they play, what music they listen to. They have to pay attention to what their children are doing. There are a lot of parents out there that don't. And, there are situations on there. And I have to say there are some that do pay attention, but, their kids still get into trouble. But I'll tell you this, they have to pay attention a little bit more. If you decide, hey, listen, my child can play Call of Duty. He can watch R-rated movies if, depending on what kind of movie it is. I can give him the permission to do that. But also on the other end, understand, kids have been getting away with some of this for decades. Even in the times before the internet. You had cable TV and stuff like that. I mean, there was a time, let me tell you, put it this way. Here in New York, we had Manhattan Cable TV, and then it was run by Time Warner. And of course, they had adult content. You know, you can watch it on demand. If those of you who are not in my age group would know how you ordered a movie back then on cable TV, it was just dialing your home phone number. And it was all automated. It never asked for your age. It never asked if you owned the cable TV, if you paid the bill for the cable. You know, you picked up the phone, dialed the number that was on the screen, and that's it. And the cable companies didn't have any problem with that. Until you had people like Robin Bird, Gay Cable Network, Midnight Blue, and many other shows that were coming out for free on public access television, similar to what we have on YouTube and many other sites. And some of these big companies went after them, including Time Warner, that they wanted the customer to sign a statement.
What we call it is a pervert, because that's what they're actually labeling people. Is I have to sign as a subscriber. I would have to sign a card that says, yes, I am Ms. Bird and I watch Channel 35 and I want it unscrambled from the hours of 10 p.m. to 6 a.m.
So that was the second part of it. See, it wasn't just the scrambling that would put us off the air. It's the fact that people had to request the channel to be put on the air.
Well, so what's wrong with that?
Because you come out of the closet. You lose your chances of first-time viewers.
Confidentiality was never there. Time Warner's not confidential with their lists. They didn't even, the judge who heard this case didn't even get a card in the mail asking whether
Did the judge want to watch your show?
Sure.
Of course, he actually did say that he was a participant of viewing those type of shows, and he never got a card in the mail. And a lot of viewers of mine had stated that they never got these cards. So it wasn't even given out to all the subscribers.
That's very unconstitutional. They should not be making, and the thing about it is, you send that back. They're making lists of what people are watching. Now, understand, you know, if you're a motion picture company and you're trying to figure out what people like and stuff like that, you know, you go by ticket sales and stuff, you know, that's where it comes down to it. But when you start to make lists with people's names directly on it and say, hey, this person watches this.
Mr. O'Connor, you have a man working for you in personnel, a young man named Alfred Brewster. That's right, been with you about a year and a half. Man's a communist. He should be discharged immediately.
You know, maybe we should be watching them very carefully. And that's the thing about it. You know, anytime you're submitting your ID on there for content, you know, unless it's something like a Netflix or Hulu, something to that nature, which you're paying a monthly fee. You know, if you're submitting it separately outside the barrier where it's just a third-party company collecting that you are of age, where does that information go? Look what happened to Ashley Madison, the website Ashley Madison years ago. They collected a lot of that information, kept it on their files, and they got hacked. And that information got leaked out onto the internet. Now, if you're not familiar with what Ashley Madison was a site that basically, if you wanted to cheat on your spouse, this is where you went. And you're like saying, oh, man, that's evil. So, well, you know, someone thought it up, made money off of it, and got into deep trouble when it was hacked. And we still and this is 2024, and we still talk about it today. So tell me in the comments below your thoughts about this. You know, age verification. You know, give me your thoughts on the age verification, the SCOTUS rulings on net choice, the Indiana's ruling on halting age verification, and the coming very soon of SCOTUS finally going to put a nail in the coffin to age verification. And I believe that's what's going to happen. You know, SCOTUS hearing this is either two things are going to happen. It's either going to be knocked back down to a lower court, or it will be deemed unconstitutional. Either way, it will begin to shut down these other states that have done age verification, and these courts have no choice but to deem it unconstitutional. So, comment, like, share this video, and hopefully today's the day I've earned your subscription. Once again, thank you for your support. We'll be back next week with a full schedule of content on there, so be patient with us. We will be right back. Thank you again, and bye-bye.
Thanks for watching, commenting, and sharing this video. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe as this helps the reach of this channel. Finally, as a content viewer, you have the ability to help support this channel as new internet laws around the world will diminish our reach and affect our sponsors. If you choose to help, there are two ways listed in the description below. The first link will lead you to a pay site where you can make a monetary donation. The second will lead you to our gear shop where you can buy shirts, mugs, and other gear. Discounts will be listed on the site. Once again, thank you for watching and your support.